What's good, gentlemen? And welcome back to Men's Power Connect, where our purpose still remains to equip, engage, and empower men in life and leadership. In today's episode, we're going to cover our final stage of the Fathering Well series, the Confidant Stage. Now, if you've been listening to our Fathering Well series, you know that this journey from the covering stage all the way through the consulting stage can be quite difficult, challenging in the process of rearing our sons. However, the final stage in Fathering Well can also be extremely rewarding and gratifying as we pursue the position of a confidant to our sons. Listen in as Carlos, Myron, and Osai talk about all that comes with this stage when done with intentionality.
What's up, fellas? Welcome back to the Men's Power Connect, where we are here to equip, engage, and empower men in life and leadership. Just want to thank you all for your support in what you're doing. We're getting a lot of comments. People are subscribing to the channel.
We're at 300.
We really appreciate it. We're over
300.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited about that.
Love
Yes.
it. And the watch rate is actually really good.
It's
from
going
the percentage
really
standpoint.
good.
If you
The
look at the
watch
number
rate-
of watches each video gets versus the number of subscribers, it's a pretty high percentage.
Pretty high percentage.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that, because what that tells us is that you're enjoying the content and you're engaging with us, and so happy that you're doing that. So I'm only one of your hosts for this Men's Power Connect. My name is Carlos Green. So excited that I can be a part of this team and we can offer this platform to you all so that, again, you can be the best man that you can be. And so my other co-hosts here, I call them my iron sharpening iron brothers. I want to turn it over to Mr. Osai Harvey.
Hey,
what's up, man?
What's going on, my brothers?
How you
What up?
doing?
All right, we are in the building.
Good.
All of us, we're in here.
I love that you're in
Yes,
the building.
absolutely.
That's good.
Great to be here, y'all.
Awesome. And then my other co-host here, none other than Mr. Myron
Mr.
Head.
Myron Head.
Grace and peace, everybody.
Hey, man.
What's up? What's going on? Welcome back to Men's Power Connect. We are excited to be back with you guys again. Excited to have you here with us. And if you've been tuning in, thank you, as Carlos mentioned, for liking. Thank you for subscribing.
Yeah.
And make sure you're sharing with others this platform and this podcast, as well as the other platforms that you can get it on. So listen, we have come to the end of the five stages of fathering. And this has been a
Don't
great
make
journey.
me cry.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So
A lot of fun. Yeah.
if you have not been listening, you want to make sure that you go to the YouTube page and look for the Fathering Well series. We had 5 stages. We started with covering, then we went to conducting, moved to coaching, consulting was the last one, and now we're on the final stage, which is confidant. And so again, you want to go back. So we're going to make some references to those other stages. So to help you know where we're coming from, you want to go back and take a listen to those. So let's go ahead and get started with the confidant stage. So the confidant stage, this is where your son has finished his degree or vocational study, whatever it may be. And not only has he finished it, he's landed a great job, or maybe he's started a business. And he is to the point now where he's fully functioning on his own. He's paying his own bills on time.
Praise the Lord.
That
Right?
sounds great, man.
Praise the Lord.
Has his own
My
place.
son is 16.
Isn't sleeping on the couch or in the basement, but he has his own place.
Yes.
And he's just fully independent at this point in time. And so I want to give you the definition for what it means to be a confidant. So a confidant is a person that you trust, someone you talk with about personal or secret things in your life. So that's what we consider a confidant. At least Webster considers that to be a confidant. And so, fellas, you want to kind of speak on what does it look like for a man when he reaches that confidant stage?
Man, I think, first of all, it's a great feeling for the fathers, right, to see that they can pull back and watch their son just operate in manhood.
Yes.
All the responsibility that comes with independence, and just see him flowing in it. Very, very gratifying, right? So I would say that.
No, I would say the same thing, Osai. And I think for me, having a son in the confidant stage, it's good to see the fruit of your labor.
Yeah.
and what's happening there in their decisions that they're actually making, how they're engaging and interacting with you, not just as a son, but as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And you can trust the decisions that they're making.
Right.
You can trust the insights that they're actually bringing to the family. And they really have this next level of just how they're doing life. And that's what's so, and you've seen them traverse through all of those stages, and you've been a part of those stages that they've gone through. And now to be at the pinnacle, the confidant stage, where you really get to see, man, we've trained this young man.
Yeah.
And now he's in that confidant
Because
stage.
that's actually been the ultimate goal as a father. You know, we go through, like you said, all the stages, and now we finally get to see this is the result of the hard work that my wife and I have, the ups
Sleepless
and downs,
nights,
the roller
the
coaster.
prayer.
Yeah, exactly.
Being on
The
the
worrying.
knees, right?
Pulling your hand back from putting your hands around their neck.
Come on now.
All of that.
All of that. In his
that.
sleep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He said,
It is. And you know what? And what did you say?
He said, why he sleeping?
Why you sleeping?
Yeah.
You know, you
Get it.
peek in on him. Oh, that's my
I know.
my boy.
I know. Or you peek in on them to make sure they're still in their room.
Yeah,
That
that
part too.
We ain't got there yet.
Yeah.
We ain't got there.
Thankfully, I don't think my son has done that. Thankfully.
No. But it's gratifying to see that. And here's the other piece of it that I want men to really get from this is that this is part of your legacy. It is such a part of what you leave here, because you're grooming that man to actually carry on your own legacy.
Yeah. As you say, you always train up a child in the way that they should go, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right.
And I absolutely love that space of that. And we talked about the it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We know what that it is.
That's right.
That it is being what you've trained them in, how you've built the firm foundation in the word, how you've actually helped them to navigate through some of the challenging times that they had when they were growing up. All of those actually come to that it space. And then even they will continue to make mistakes, but they have a grounding.
Yeah.
They have a firm foundation on how they make their decisions at this point. And what I love about it is that you've been instrumental in that space and helping them to do that. And that's been our role as dads to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're giving them those opportunities, like you said, to make mistakes, also giving them those opportunities to make decisions, because the ability to make decisions is so critical as they progress from one stage to the next. And again, so Carlos, you have, of the three of us, you're the only one who has a son in the confidant stage. So kind of open up the floor a little bit for you to share some of your relationship and what that's been like for you and Catherine with your son Cameron.
Yeah, it's been, again, I'll use the word again, gratifying and satisfying to have a son in the confidant stage.
Yeah.
Because he finished college, went out, and after he finished college, he came back and lived with us maybe a year.
Okay.
But what he was doing, which blows our mind, is that he was saving his money so he could buy him a home.
Wow.
And he just came home one day. I don't know if you guys know this story. He just came home one day and said, "Hey, I'm about to purchase a home." We're like,
"Oh, wow.
You about to purchase a home now?" I was like, you just got out of college. He said, "No, I'm about to purchase a home right now because I've got a great job and I can afford it at this point." And I said, as dads, as parents, we're like, okay, so do you need like a gift letter? Have you already checked your credit? And do we need to help you in any other kind of way financially, or what that looks like? He said, "No, I got it."
Because you trained up a child in
the way he should go.
Come on now.
Come on. And I just think that was the result. He's like, since I've actually been with my dad and mom, we've always lived in a home.
Yeah.
We've always lived in a home. That's what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that we manage our finances, the way that we steward our resources, I believe that's a direct product of him saying, I need to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
I've seen the benefits of that.
There you go.
And I
That's
know
good.
how to do it. And he just went and got his own home that way. So that was gratifying and satisfying in that space. And then just the other is how he's been able to steward his life spiritually as well as socially, what that looks like, making sure that he's making good informed decisions that does not put him in a challenging or a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Okay.
He's been making those great decisions about how he's going to actually live his life. And it's been wonderful. We go out to eat and he can pay for it himself, or he helps to pay for both me and Catherine without us asking.
Okay.
So that's a blessing.
It is.
To be able that he's not saying, hey, can you spot me?
Right.
No.
Right.
Why he ordering the steak and the lobster?
Right.
Hey,
Of course, the most expensive thing on the menu.
I'm glad we had this time together, Mom and Dad.
Yes.
I ain't got no money tonight.
But that's it. So what I love is that there are so many men that's in the confidant, that has their children in the confidant stage of what that looks like. And I just want to make sure that they're celebrating that.
Yes.
That's so wonderful to actually be able to, again, see the fruit of your labor.
Love it. Love it. And I know there are, so there's some areas that we look to ensure that our sons are being grounded in or fully formed in these states, right? And so those areas would be, of course, spiritually, as we've already talked about, financially, emotionally, and then also physically, right? And mentally, excuse me. And so those are the 5 areas that we really want to make sure that they're grounded. And you kind of see almost like a building, right? So the spiritual is the foundation, because if that's not at a good space, then the financial is going to have problems. The mental is definitely going to have it. Emotionally, all of that will really have some difficulties adjusting if you don't have a good foundation spiritually for your sons.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, if y'all don't mind.
Let's talk.
Yeah, just the especially the mental side of being in the confidant stage. So I think there's some things that we have to take into consideration as fathers. I'm pretty sure that you've had experiences where we have to kind of look at things from an objective standpoint and not do anything that's going to be detrimental to the growth of your son.
Okay.
Right? And what I mean by that is I think for all of us, we want to feel validated as a father. We have our role. We know how significant our role is. There's certain ways that we want to step in and help. But I think in some ways, those ways of being validated can actually be a hindrance to the progress of our sons if we intrude too much.
You're talking about the father being validated.
Right, correct.
Okay.
The father being validated, right. Because, again, we talked about just the whole process from beginning to end, right? From the covering stage all the way up, right? We've been conditioned so much to fulfill this validation as fathers,
Right.
that now when it's time for our sons to move forward, we don't know how to turn that switch off, or not necessarily turn the switch off, but we don't know how to pivot. That's the word. We don't know how to pivot and move into a space where we now support from the outside of his world, right? If we're not careful and we feel like we still need to position ourselves as fathers from when we actually started in the covering stage all the way up through the consulting stage, then there's going to be, and he may not ever say it, but there's going to be an apprehension in our son's mind, in his spirit, as far as how much he wants us to support him, right? And that could be scary.
Yeah.
Because...
So does that mean, just for point of clarification, does that mean that he may have some apprehension because he may feel like that we're controlling
Absolutely.
the narrative and the scenarios in his life?
You hit the nail on the head.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I can do this.
That's right.
So you don't need to tell me what I need to do at this point. I just want to make sure.
No, that's it. You hit the nail on the head. And I think, again, he may not ever say it.
Yeah.
You know, just depending on the relationship that he has with his father, he may just hold it in. But of course, in frustration, he's trying to live his life without listening to his father's voice in the back of his head, which is good. But I'm saying he cannot make his own decisions because he's always hearing his father in terms of how he feels like he needs to do it. That's just not healthy.
And I like what you said, right? The hearing your father's voice in the back of your head, that's good.
It is a good thing, yes.
But I don't need to like actually be hearing it in the confidant stage, right?
That's right.
So the hearing in the back of the mind is, okay, Dad said, have you considered this? Dad would always say, hey, did you pray about this? Dad would always. Yeah. So it's that, right?
Right.
Recalling the conversations, the lessons from Dad versus Dad now saying, hey, don't take that job. You don't need to take that job. You need to take this job.
Right.
Don't go study this. You need to go study that. Like, that's not
still in the
conducting
space. Stage.
And then we think about, like we said, what the definition is, a person that you trust and someone that you can share secret things with.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's that apprehension, there's not going to be a willingness to have a lot of those conversations.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, and to your point, I think in this stage, as fathers, we have to do more listening than trying to instruct.
Okay.
That was in the confidant. No, I'm sorry, in the consulting. That was more in the consulting stage and the coaching stage, right? But now we're, opening up our ear and then also asking questions, right? Yeah, similar to what we did in the consulting stage.
Yeah.
But we have to, again, follow the Holy Spirit.
Come on.
And know when it's too much and when we need to kind of just, all right, let's pull back, let's pivot.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's something that you can share that would be informational, whatever the case may be, to prevent anything in the future from becoming a detriment to your son. So it is kind of that fine line, right? In that
delicate balance.
Yeah, exactly. If we're not mindful of that.
And it's almost like you think about when you go to see, mental health expert like yourself, or a psychologist or something like that. You sit down and they ask questions.
That's right.
And as they ask questions, they probe even deeper, right? Continue. Okay. So tell me, wait, you mentioned this. So tell me about that scenario.
Right.
And what did that mean to you? How did that impact you? So it's really that when we talk about the listening, it's listening for, okay, where is he challenged? And I don't want to give him the answer where he's challenged, but I want to ask enough questions so he can arrive at, no, that's right. I forgot. I know how to do that, Dad. I can just take care of, oh yeah, I remember you had told me this person was, somebody who was in the insurance business and they can help me, or this person is a realtor, they can help me. I just call them. Don't worry about it, Dad. I figured it out. That's a great feeling.
It is.
Right.
I don't have a son, but when I've had my nephews or my niece or something like that, and they text me and I can't get back to them, and then I follow up and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I figured it out.
That's it.
Right.
That's what's up. I don't even need to know what it was at that point.
Right.
Hey, I'm just glad you figured it out. If anything else comes up, let me know. Right. But that's knowing that they're developing that decision making. Right.
I was just going to say, because you went on one side of the spectrum to where the dad is extremely involved or control or need to be validated. And then on the other end, they may say, well, I'm out, deuces, because you're a grown man.
You're a grown man.
You can make your own decisions. I don't need to be a part of that. And I would love for you to speak to that, just how, because it seems like the dad sometimes may completely divorce himself from those experiences with their son.
Yeah. No, and I think the pivot has to be a careful pivot, So let's take a scenario, for instance, your son graduates, he's off to college and he's like, all right, you got this. Everything that I've taught you from the time that you were young, now you put it into work. You exercise that, right? And although all that is good, in his mind, in the child's mind, he's thinking, but Pop, you've been supporting me this whole time. Now all of a sudden you're just going to pull the rug from under me?
Yeah.
Like I still need your support, right? And so I think reassuring your son that even though he's getting ready to transition into independence, I'm still here for you,
right? No
matter what, right? And in saying that, as fathers, not saying I'm here for you, like, hey, if you call me, then I'm all up in your business. That's not it.
Yeah.
But when you say I'm here for you, just create moments and opportunities where you could just check in, make sure that he's good. Hey, son, you need anything?
Yeah.
Everything all right? And that continues to bring that reassurance back to him. That says, God, my dad's got my back regardless, right?
I feel like this conversation, this part of the conversation is so important because for a lot of men, right, we don't even know how to be confidants to each other. Right? When we talk about as a man being able to say, hey, I'm struggling, or I'm having a challenge, I'm having difficulty, being able to say that to another man is very challenging for a lot of men nowadays.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think this is so important, right? Because it is a shift from, instructional, coaching, suggesting, veto power. You got to go back and look at the coaching stage for that one. But it's all of these things that we've been doing for so many years. And like you said, we've been conditioned the entirety of our son's life. Now, all of a sudden, we have to pull back. We have to pivot a little bit, right? And when you make that pivot, you have to be able to have that level conversation of, hey, how's things going?
Yeah.
And then allow him to let you know what's going on.
Right.
And then not go to solutioning.
That's right.
Which for a man, we know that we just want to, all right, what's the problem? All right, this is what you need to do. You need to call this person, you can go there, you fill out this form and you're done. Like, that's what we do. We go into solutioning mode. But if we do that, he's not going to figure it out himself. And then you become the crutch from him becoming an independent man.
Right. And that's what you don't want.
That's what you don't want.
Perfect example. Because and again, the challenge is just trying to find that rhythm, because things are always changing.
Always.
And so you can't get too comfortable, right? You always have to, and again, that's why it's important to have a relationship with the Lord, because he'll download, he'll put stuff in your spirit. All right, too much. Or, all right, I think you need to check on your son. Make sure, you know what I mean? So it's two sides of it. And of course, trying to identify how to get that pendulum in the middle, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to be patient with your son, but you have to be patient with yourself as well. Yeah. Hey, fellas, thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week as we continue our dialogue on the Confidant Stage. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms and like us on Facebook. And of course, don't ever forget to go out and encourage another brother.